All right, Pratik, we're going to start with the Harvard president. Will Claudine Gay survive? What are the betting markets saying?
Okay, so if you can click on Claudine Gay, yeah, and then go to the graph. So you can see this was one of the most volatile markets I've ever
Wow.
seen. Um, so basically, what happened, probably as your viewers know, Claudine Gay testified in front of Congress on the issue of anti-Semitism at Harvard. It was a disastrous interview. She was not able to even say that calling for genocide of the Jews would necessarily violate Harvard's policies. And so the president of UPenn ended up resigning over the firestorm. So then the thought was, okay, would Claudine Gay be next? Now, what really created problems for her is that while the board was considering whether she should resign over that, some conservative reporters also found out that she plagiarized not only her dissertation, but a bunch of academic papers, which had allowed her to get on the Harvard faculty in the first place. So as the reporting was happening, this market went up and down, up and down. Eventually, the board released a statement that they stand by her. So it looks for
Well,
now,
let's
through the
let's
end
go
of the year
back here. I
anyway.
would say that
Yeah.
the plagiarism accusations were in this frame here. This was right after her testimony. This was um this was when the plagiarism. I think it probably spiked. Yes, she might she it, when they heard the board was meeting, but then the board issued the statement saying we're keeping her, and it rocketed way back up to 97 cents on the dollar that she'll stay. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yeah, pretty much. But there was just a lot of rumors going on, and the fact that the UPenn president bowed out did also make people think maybe she was next.
Okay. Now, all right, let's take a look over here and let's broaden it and look at all three. So we now know that the UPenn president is out. That's her in orange. The MIT president in is in purple here, and the Harvard president in blue. What it looks like, Pratik, is that over time, looks like even though it that well, what does this chart show? You tell me.
Okay, so the difference with this chart from the one we were looking at before is that this one is asking the question, will they be gone by the end of 2024, not 2023?
Within the
So
next 13 months.
yeah, so I mean, I think what we're seeing is that the markets seem pretty confident that the MIT president is going to survive. But you see here, there's a reasonable chance. I think it's around 20%
Yeah,
that
31 now. Yeah.
yeah, that Claudine Gay will be gone by the end of next year. So I wonder if what the markets are saying here is that she'll be here through the end of next year, but maybe the board is kind of thinking that okay, they'll say they're sticking with her, but the plagiarism scandal and the donors will exert so much pressure in a couple of weeks or months, she may have to bow out anyway.
Well, I think there's another factor too, and we've heard it expressed that Harvard didn't want to fire her in essence or ask her to resign because they didn't want the congressional hearings and Representative Elise Stefanik to be given credit for ousting her. So I think you're right. I think they want to let some time go. They know that she committed probably some falsehoods. I don't know if you call it plagiarism or certainly major errors in her papers and her writings. And obviously her testimony was I don't want to say unforgivable, but was certainly subpar. But they don't want to give congressional Republicans, at least Stefanik. So I think you're right. It'll simmer for a while in the background, and then sometime later next year they'll come up with some excuse to get rid of her. Does that seem fair enough?
Yeah, I think that so it's not only Elise Stefanik. I think the fact that it was right-wing journalists that uncovered the plagiarism, or not uncovered, but made it public. The other factor here too is that a lot of the most high-profile donors that are complaining are not only a lot of them are right-wing, but some of them are seen to be affiliated with the former ousted president Larry Summers, who had to
Yeah, or they're
resign over.
Jewish.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I think Harvard's going to be under so much pressure from the donors. I don't know. I can't imagine like Claudine Gay is going to be the reason they lose millions, if not billions, of donations. But for now, she is surviving.
Well, but she is the absolute symbol of diversity, equity, and inclusion. She is the absolute case of when you sacrifice quality and make a decision based on skin color rather than on merit, that you're going to get subpar leadership, and that's what we saw. Now, I mean, she is the, on the one hand, she is the walking of example of what DEI is all about, but on the other hand, she's also the walking of example of why DEI is such a failed philosophy. So that's how I would look at it. All right, but now you talked about donors, but another interesting thing that the betting markets are looking at. Oh, okay, so they can measure donations to the school, but will applications go down? There's so much talk out there now, Pratik, about, hey, why would any parent want their kid to go to an Ivy League school if it's got leadership like this? So measuring applications are interesting. What are the markets saying here?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a question people are saying, if these universities keep it up, will demand for these institutions go down? I think applications is not a bad way of measuring that.